I thought I would do a quick update on how things are going with the Panther. Answer is basically very, very slowly. Not helped by me actually losing one of the sprues for several weeks and finding it unfortunately in a box of other model parts. The other thing that hasn't helped, frankly, is the complexity of this build. There's a lot to put together. Some of the parts don't fit very well. Some of the parts don't seem to fit at all. Some of the instructions are extremely vague in where to fit things. Plus, I think because I've been so used to doing Tamiya models, I've got so used to reading their instructions. Some of the ones I'm finding a little bit tricky to follow on this. Also, some of the fit of the parts isn't great. It's getting there. It's going there slowly. I'll be honest, I'm getting pretty sick of doing it now. I might move on to something else and come back to this. It is very nearly there, and it is going to look quite staggering, I think, when it's finished. I've decided to model it on one of those ones to see in I forget, is it the American Armour Museum? One of those big American museums anyway, where they ended up cutting them away at the end of the Second World War. Hindsight's possibly not the best thing to do, but it provides a really quite interesting view inside the vehicles. So I thought I'd do it something like that. So you get to see quite a lot of what's going on inside. And the engine. Now the engine, unfortunately, after I glued it into place, something went rather badly wrong, and it's not actually very central. Yeah, so there's some issues with fit. There's possibly some issues with me as a modeler as well. But when it does actually get finished, and I finally finished painting it, and paint it properly, it's going to be a fair old model. Now, the one thing I did is try and look at some versions of Panthers that have been restored and to see what kind of colours they actually were. And I think this should be, the instructions would have this being green, the gearbox part being green. And the fact is that every single restored Panther seems to have a different array of colours, so it's a bit of guesswork on that front as well. So in some ways this is quite a frustrating build. In other ways, now it's sort of got this far, you can actually see how far I've actually got. I did have quite a lot of issues fitting some parts. A lot of bits needed filing down. The engine just didn't seem to sit properly wherever I did it, and obviously it doesn't sit properly at all now, and I don't think there's a great deal I can do about that. But you know, when the whole goes together, it will do. I'm going to leave so you can see parts of the engine and the cooling systems and so on. May well put the spree brass over here, but again, it's still a bit of a work in progress. Still sort of making some decisions about what we're going to do. And obviously found out the painting to go yet, but I think it's going to be striking. But I think it's time for a bit of a break from this now. So hopefully by the end of the year it will actually be completed. But it is it's been a bit of a struggle. I won't lie. It's not been the easiest model I've ever made.